Hello, my name is Angeline King and I'm here with Mid and East Antrim Council Arts to tell you about my novel writing. I have recently published a book called Dusty Bluebells, and I thought it might be a nice opportunity to give my top 10 tips on how to write a novel. My first tip is to go and find a story, and if you live in Mid and East Antrim, you might not have to go very far to be inspired. My next tip is to study. So, study people, study places, study nature, study history, and study other people's books. Tip 3 is to take a trip down memory lane. I find some of my best writing comes from retracing the steps of my childhood, quite literally, walking through the areas that I grew up in, visiting the local school, and so on. So try it and see what happens. You might find that you write a diary, for example, which is always a great way to start the novel writing journey. Tip 4 is to start with a conversation. So open up your computer and write a conversation. I find that a really good way to get started, and then afterwards you can go in and build up layers on that conversation. So let's have a go. That was a conversation from the beginning of Snugville Street, and what I would do there is just keep developing it and adding in more prose, and then your prose can get that little bit more flowery. Tip 5 is to ask for help and get your friends to help you in the early stages of your writing. And when I wrote A Belfast Tale, quite a lot of my friends read it for me, but the most important thing was that I hired a professional writer to read it for me. It's quite an expensive thing to do, but it's well worth it because you'll get the most invaluable insights from the professional. Tip 6 is about publishing. You can write short stories and poems and enter into competitions, and also you can submit your work to be published in publications. This can all be going on while you're continuing to do your novel writing. It's a little bit more challenging sometimes to get a novel published, so there's lots of work you can be doing in the background to improve your publishing credits. So this is the Community Arts Partnership, and I had a poem published in it recently, and also the Ulster University paperclip. So if you can hold back some of your literature instead of splashing on your website as I did, it could be quite useful to you in terms of your writing credentials. Tip 7, self-publishing. Self-publishing is an option if your work has gone through some kind of thorough professional assessment. I self-published Snugville Street, then A Belfast Tale, and now Dusty Bluebells as well, but a lot of work has gone on behind the scenes to get those books ready to upload to Amazon. Another way that you can get published, if you have a book that's maybe of local interest and you know that hundreds of people are going to like that book, you can actually get a print run done in a more traditional way. I approached a company in Newtonards called Colourpoint, and they designed and printed this beautiful book, which is my pride and joy. It's a children's book, but it's for big weans and wee weans. Tip 9 is to make things happen for yourself and be your own master. And a couple of projects that I worked on in the last 6 months were Shaped by the Sea. So I worked on this with Mid and East Antrim Council, and it was a Piece 4 programme, and I brought together some writers from the Larne area to produce this book, and it was great fun. And the other project was North Star by Women Aloud NI. 45 writers were involved in this fantastic lockdown project. Tip 10 is to get to know your local librarians and get to know your local arts centre and the arts team at Mid and East Antrim Council. Well, that's all from me. I hope you found this useful and informative. And as I said, Dusty Bluebells has just come out. You'll find it on Amazon and in independent bookstores. And I wouldn't mind if you read it and got back to me to tell me what you think. So that's kind of like tip 11, never miss a sales opportunity. Thank you. Over and out from me.